Now this is a review on his videos about gray goo, or nanotechnology is what they call it. But it's called gray goo theory, which he's wrong on it. One reason, you see what it says. It says self-replicating machine. Now you was wrong because it's also called nanobots. Nanotechnology is a computer robot, meaning you can fuck with it. Anybody can change it. The gray goo theory was based on, and I said based on, the gray goo theory was based on a game that can happen for real. It's a Doomday game. Doomday scenario game. Mr. Hill, you did say that. You see, I'm putting it with Mr. Hill. I'm reviewing your video. You're wrong. Because where you got it right here at 48 hours, it can copy itself. It'll be around 3 trillion times. That's wrong. Size of Earth, that's wrong. So you made a mistake on it. Second, you got to remember, you did say about the mega heat that it has. Yes, it can, and it can be seen. But then you remember, you said mask the heat. Okay, if you did that, the only way you can do it is by putting it in an animal. You must put in an animal. Think about that. Not to be seen. Here's a human animal. It's an animal. It's like a dog, cat, or anything else. Or a man. Think about it. See what I'm saying? It's got 40 trillion cells. It's got brain cells, bone cells, white cells, blood cells, bacteria. Your organs have got cells in them. Your skin, your hair. Okay. Now, to get that thing keep heating, it's going to take a lot of time to get it heat. You said it could take over the world. Well, it can, in theory, because you got to use boosters to recharge the nanoparticles. You always got to do the nanotechnology part. It recharges. That's why it needs boosters like 4 or 5 times. It says self-replicating robot making in 3 years. Well, that means it's got 40 trillion it's got to go through to make 80 trillion, which that changes. That's per animal. So per animal, that's 7 billion animals. It takes 3 years. That'd be 2023. So you was wrong. You was dead wrong when you see that. See, that's what you was talking about. Gray goo theory. It was on a game about the nanotechnology. It was also on Star Trek. Oh, there's a whole bunch of space movies. Even Martians even mess with nanotechnology. There's over 500 movies about it. It's a computer robotic. It is slower than what you've got right there because it can be controlled. It can be controlled. It can be programmed for anything. You see what they're saying? You said it was a machine with mega heat seen. It could, but you said it has to be masked. Well, right there's your mask. Put in an animal, not be seen. All right, you got one animal right here. It's 40 trillion cells. Brain, bone, white, red, bacteria, skin, hair. Okay, it's gonna need reboot to keep the power going. So now you're gonna have to reboot it to keep it charged. Self-repelling and it's robot making in 3 years. That makes 80 trillion per person. So that animal has got 80 trillion. That's a whole new different species. And then it's 7 billion animals at one time. So it means you had to infect it. That's why it said you had to infect it. You have to give it in. You have to give a shot, you know, like this little stick right here, and I poke it and poke it. That's what it's talking about right there. It's boosting. I'm boosting it. Same thing. Think about it. And see, the guys who agreed with me, look who agreed with me, Ken, Mr. Hill. Mr. Hill, I want you to look who agreed with me. Scientists agree with Cherokee survival. Look at the names of the scientists that I know. Look who asked them questions. They answered everything. They even told me this right here. Nanotechnology's patent and regulations. Warning, no use on animals. You see what it says? Nanotechnology's patent. Regulations. No warning. No use on animals. That big difference. And what you were saying, it's a scenario. So the scenario is still telling you. But yet, they actually already started doing it. That's when they got a patent for it. That's when they got regulations for it. That's when they got a warning for it. You still got it right there saying it has to be masked in animal to stop being seen. You're right. but it has to have a booster. It has to have another booster. It has to have another booster. So you see, that's all. And then it has to copy itself so many times that the robot making itself is in 3 years. And then you got to go 40, and then you do another 40. That will make it 80 trillion. Per animal, that's 7 billion animals by 2023. Now you see the difference with gray goo? It's real. And then the people who back my comments and everything, they saying the same thing. That's a scientist. Here's the other scientist that agreed with me. Here's another scientist from Japan that agreed with me. Andrew from Europe agreed with me. Karen from South America agreed with me. Another person from South America. Here's a Chinese. Here's another Chinese. Here's United States. And there's another United States man. And he's in the United States. And he's in the United States. And they all said the same thing. Nanotechnology, patent, regulations, warning, no use on animals. But yet you're showing the scenario that they're using it. So how can it be wrong? Yours are wrong because you got 48 hours. That's 3 trillion. 48 hours ain't even 400. Think about it. That's not even 400. Oh, 48 hours, it'll weigh as much as an herb. That's a bunch of shit. See, that tells you you're wrong on it. But these guys telling you right there the same thing. The machine, mega heat, seen by human. To stop that, you mask the heat. Put in animal. Not to be seen. The reason all these cells cover up the heat. All the cells here covers up the heat. It's replicating itself every 3 years. It needs a booster to keep it charged. That makes 80 trillion per animal. Then you got 7 billion animals by 2023. These men agreed with me. Think about it. These are scientists that agreed. See, they agreed with what I said. And they back the same thing. We use quantum physics. Think about that. You think about that. You, Hill Review, you're wrong in gray goo theory. You're wrong in gray goo theory. Thank you.